My name is Sarah Elizabeth, and I just wanted to come on here and talk to you guys about a lesson I just learned last week. And I think I really need to talk about this for so many reasons, especially if you grew up in a traumatic household where love literally did not exist. You were basically fighting for your life every single day. And, or if you grew up in or if you experienced some type of physical trauma, such as, physical abuse. I know from my journey, the energy of physical abuse has been packed and stored deep inside of me. And also, it just doesn't magically go away in one session, 2 sessions, 3 sessions. It is a lifetime of work. And I'm here to remind you, because it's coming through, if you are working with a healer or a energetic practitioner and they're helping you move through this space, make sure that there's a time to be a student. There's a time to receive, and there's a time to be a student. And you want to make sure that you're also learning how to hold space for yourself, as in learning the tools and modalities so you can become self-reliant, so you can become dependent on yourself. Now, there's nothing wrong with bringing people in to assist you and guide you. That's what I do. But at the same time, I'm teaching you that you already have the tools inside of you. I'm going to teach you a couple other things, or I'm going to remind you of the tools that are out there. And I think that's really, really important, because a lot of people are coming through the gram and through TikTok, I can heal your life, I can fix your problems. In reality, no, you can't. Only I can. I strongly build my practice around the quote of, a healer is not a person here to heal you. A healer is here to remind you that you can heal yourself. So that is something that I deeply, strongly believe in. And I'm going to be a little transparent. I feel like, my business is not booming as much because I build that, ethic, value into my business and outside of my business, because I don't want you to be dependent on me. I don't want that. And so when you're working with a healer and practitioner, make sure, not only they're providing safe space and helping you work through physical trauma, but also they're giving you the means to help yourself and encouraging you to help yourself, right? So I am going to be really transparent, and I do this to show you that I'm human too. I'm on a journey too, and I'm not perfect either. I have the awareness of what's going on inside of my body. And right now I'm in the position where I'm learning how to drive what I like to call this body a Ferrari. Like, there's different gears, there's different buttons, there's different settings. And I have done so much healing, like all of that is being released out. Now I'm learning how to operate this body. And it's a beautiful, confusing, euphoric, empowering, discouraging, amazing thing, right? So that's where I'm at. And throughout my practice, which has been going on year 6, one of the things that has been brought to my vortex and to my awareness is the fact that I am a judgmental shit. Okay. Now, of course, I'm going through life saying, oh my gosh, I don't judge. I don't do that. But I wasn't judging if you were like me and I suffered the same way that you're suffering, or vice versa. Do you see what I'm saying? I didn't judge you if you was a hoe, because I was a hoe too. I didn't judge you because you're doing drugs, because I did drugs too. I didn't judge you if, you're crazy, because I'm crazy too. I didn't judge you for things that were in my vortex that I accepted, right? And I'll never forget one day when I was just really struggling with a person. God revealed to me that your issue is judgment, and if you're going to hold space, you're going to have to work on this judgment thing, because you cannot show judgment to anyone or to anything, because if you are judging, that means, one, you've got some stuff that you need to work through, and two, you don't need to be holding space. And I took that very, very, very seriously, because I felt very strongly that I heard the voice. I saw the vision. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. I take my work very seriously. So if it's important to me, people's, and especially if they're, trusting me, I need to work on this. And so I've been working on that. And I, first accepted that I judge, and this is why I judge, and this is what judgment feels like in my body, right? And so from that time, fast forward to now, I have gotten a lot better at it. Like, judgment comes from my mind, okay? If I'm judging you, that means I'm separating myself from you, and I think I'm better than you. No, I'm not, okay? Because I was a sinner before I was a saint too. You know what I'm saying? So I am learning how to drive this Ferrari, right? And one of the biggest things that has helped me learn the logistics of this Ferrari is getting my human design read. I got my human design read, and it just makes so much sense to me. And before I had my human design read, I sat in a medicine circle with Mother like 3 days before I had my human design read, and everything that she was telling me correlated to this human design. So it was like connecting the dots for me, right? So I'm like, okay. So now, like, I'm learning how to be a generator manifester. Okay, that's what I am. If you know your human design, comment below. I want to know. And so now I'm learning how to anchor. I'm learning how to, like, going through it, right? And last week, I'm working with another business partner, and last week I had something come up inside of my body, okay? And it threw me through a loop, because I had this vision and an idea for one thing, and then when I saw it being presented as something else, it knocked me out of my flow. And when I'm knocked out of my flow, that means my womb space is like checked out. Nope, I'm done, okay? So I paid attention to that. And then I also paid attention to what my heart space was telling me, because my heart space is like my discernment area. It's my healthy ego, right? And so I'm like talking to this space in my body, what is going on here? And it's like, well, this is the way it was supposed to be. This is the alignment. This is what's going on. This is not right. Like, and this is the reasons why it's not right. You need to say something. So I'm like, okay, I need to say something. And so once, I'm trying to not get consumed in what I'm experiencing, because I don't want to become attached to it. Because as soon as I attach myself to what my body is trying to tell me, and whether it's negative, especially when it's negative for me, I don't want to get lost in the sauce. I don't want to get lost and, create friction and resistance, right? So I was taking a step back and I was like, okay, so let's go over what I was supposed to be doing, what my intentions were, and what my body is telling me. And my body was telling me, you are going to have to speak up. You're going to have to say, this is not flowing right. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then I go into my headspace, which is not always the best idea ever. And I'm like, yeah, this is not supposed to be it. This is it. This is it. You know, I'm going down this train of thoughts. That's not, it's just making the energy inside my body worse, because, you know, it's like, yeah, it's not right. Yeah. So at this point, I'm hype, right? And I said, you know what? Okay, what do I need to do right now? I gotta learn how to drive this Ferrari. What is this Ferrari? What button needs to be pushed here? And I took a step back and I took a couple deep breaths and I just removed myself from the whole situation. And I realized that I was judging. How I got there, I'm pretty sure I know how, but, you know, whatever. It doesn't matter how you got there. It's just important how you recognize it and move through it. So I recognized that I was judging, and I recognized that, okay, if I'm judging this person and I'm judging this experience, that means I'm judging myself. So how am I judging myself? What is inside of me that's creating this judgment? And a couple hours later, I sat down with my journal and I realized the reason why I was judging myself was because I was in fear of the consequences of speaking up for myself. What are those consequences? I'm going to get hit. I'm going to get smacked. I'm going to be put into a corner. I'm going to lose this opportunity. People are going to judge me. I'm not, you know, people are going to say I'm going to be hard to work with, and all of those things. You see the timeline here? The timeline starting from a child all the way up to now. And I realized that in that moment that nothing can happen to me. They're not going to put their hands on me. They're not going to put their hands on me. That's illegal. And if that does happen, I mean, if you want to go that way, let's do it. But that's not going to happen because we're grown, right? And we're not in the hood anymore. But at the same time, I recognize that judgment was a form of protection, consequences of being put into a corner and things of that nature. Now, once I realized that, then I was guided to, well, why are you speaking up? What are your values? What are your ethics? What's your intention? And I was guided back to those things. And if you don't have your ethics, your core values, your intentions, what you are about, who you are about written down in a notebook somewhere, this is your sign to do that, because that is going to be your map. And if you are hitting the nail on all of those things, and if it's going to serve you and serve the highest good of everybody else involved, then you have permission to speak, because that is your truth, and you're here on this earth to live your freaking truth. And if you don't like my truth, that's fine with me. It has nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with you. It just means that we're not in alignment. And in this thing called the universe that goes like this, things are going to high vibe and low vibe. Things are going to be in alignment and misalignment and things of that nature. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So once I realized, okay, there's nothing to fear here, and I spoke my truth, and I said what needed to be said, and I left it alone. I left it alone. I said, we can both come back to this tomorrow.
Mommy?
Let me take some breaths. What?
Can I go change and then put my shoes on to come out here and play?
Yes, you can.
Thank you.
Be sure to brush your teeth, please.
Okay.
Once I realized all of those things, then I said what I had to say, and I was just like, I'm going to let it go, and I'm going to let the universe handle it. And if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. But what I do know is that my body was telling me, whoa, pump the brakes here. You need to speak up. And I had to really work through that just to get to these pivotal moments. And so my conclusion is, if you grew up in a physical household where you were beat every day, or if you were in a relationship where you were beat every day, or you got into a fight that someone put their hands on you and it just kept you in that space, one, if you've been working through it and moving through it, understand that nobody can't hurt you anymore. And there are no consequences except positive consequences of you speaking your truth. And if you speak your truth and if they don't like it, it doesn't have anything to do with you. Don't take it personally. It's not about you sometimes. And they can't hurt you. Nobody can put their hands on you. And that was something that I realized last night. This person can't hurt me. I'm not in that space anymore. And I hope and pray that I'm never in that situation, because I will throw hands. But I won't. But don't try me. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to come on here and really, if you are in fear of speaking and living your truth, I invite you to pay attention to where it's at in your body and communicate with your body where it's coming from. For me, it was judgment. I was listening to somebody else's live the other day, and this is the inspired talk from watching that talk. She was talking about how to move through doubt, and sometimes doubt is just where we arrive at. And the way that I took it, we just have to, in my opinion, transmute it or leave it be. I do know if I didn't pay attention to my body, I do know if I didn't take the time to pause and take the time to explore this, judgment would have wrecked this deal in a heartbeat. And it was just the little girl inside of me fearing the consequences. And I wrote it down in my journal, plain as day. There are no consequences to speaking your truth, baby. There's none. Wow, that was quick. And you're matching. Okay, girl. All right, so I pray that this video has supported you, has guided you, has given you something today. I just want to remind you, we all get caught up in something. Fear, judgment, what's the word? Abandonment, doubt. We all get caught up in those things, but just because we get caught up in them doesn't mean that's who we are and how we identify ourselves as. It's just a block that comes up that's meant to be explored and loved and released. And so I just wanted to share that with you guys. All right, cool. So I'm gonna get